Everyone has a story to tell. We connect and relate to one another when we share our stories. My name is Amelia Old, and I am your host of Voices of Inspiration. Join me as I share stories of friends, family, and strangers from my everyday life and travels. You will laugh, possibly cry, or walk away feeling connected more than ever to those around you and ready to be the change our world needs. Everyone has a story to tell. What's yours? Welcome to Voices of Inspiration. I'm your host, Amelia Old, and today we are with Miss Jess Sagun from Winna's Kitchen in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to be here and learn a little bit more about your story.
We're excited for you to be here.
Thank you. So can you just start off and talk a little bit about what inspired you to pursue a career in cooking?
You know, I grew up around food. I'm a Southern woman, and so there was cooking around my household a lot. I realized recently that it was something that was affirmed in our household, and so I think that was a big part of developing a love for cooking. As far as opening a restaurant, I joke that when my mom passed away, we got over-inspired, and we're like, oh, we're going to open a restaurant and pursue our dreams, you know. So it was really a combination of the two. I love food. I love all the elements of food preparation. Restaurant work is very hard, but it's rewarding, the payoff's there. And you know, there's that whole idea of pursuing your dreams, and you know, at the end when your time comes, knowing like, hey, I wanted to do that and I tried it.
Right.
So that it was a combination of lots of events.
I love that you're following something that you really wanted to pursue. How did your experience, so you were on Chef Swap,
Yes.
And how did your experience on that show influence your entire journey?
Chef Swap, you know, we weren't originally slated to be on Chef Swap.
That's what I hear.
We were a last minute addition when somebody else couldn't make it. And we were excited. We were a brand new restaurant. We had been open just really a few months. And so we didn't want to turn down an opportunity, you know, for the advertising, you know.
Sure.
There's no bad marketing, they say. So we knew we wanted to participate, and being included with people of that caliber was a good boost for us to be like, wait a minute, we can do this. And then we won, and I was like, no, we really can do this. Like, we're going to do it. And so the food is a real important part of this process to us. And so knowing our food is there, our flavor profiles are there, was very encouraging, especially in the beginning when things are real hard and you're like, what have I done? It's been rewarding.
How did you feel when you won?
I was shocked. I was stunned. You know, Jamie Descalis is the chef that we competed with, and I mean, she's a trained chef with, you know, several restaurants in town, 2 different concepts. She's a powerhouse, and so I was shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked, but thrilled at the same time.
So can you share a little bit about the story behind Winna's Kitchen?
Absolutely. So my mom, she was an amazing person. I say she was a soft place to land. You know, she took in strays and homeless of all kinds, animals and people. But my mom, she had a rough life. And it was from her own choices. She struggled with alcoholism. She struggled with stubbornness. She just, you know, she made a lot of choices that didn't really benefit her or her children. And so we were raised by my grandparents. But later in life, my mom and I became close. She lived with us until she passed away. And literally up until the day she died, she struggled with regret. The day before she died, she called me at work and said, hey, I just want to know that we're okay. And I told her, I said, Mom, we're great. Like, you're great. I'm so glad you're my mother. I'm so glad that we've come to this place. And I didn't know she was going to die the next day. But knowing she had those regrets really kind of spurred me on, because I knew that wasn't something that I wanted to, I didn't want to live with that. I didn't want to go out that way.
Yeah.
And so, it was kind of a perfect storm, for lack of a positive phrase. All these pieces kind of came together. We live literally 2 blocks down from here.
Wow.
This is our neighborhood. We love Myrtle Beach. We love downtown. And so we've seen what this has been, this area has been. We know the ups and downs of it. And we also knew that we wanted to make an impact in this area. And so that kind of push of, I don't want to live with regrets, and, hey, wait, I want to make a positive difference in my community, came together when we knew you got to put your money where your mouth is. Don't talk about it, be about it, that whole thing. And so we bootstrapped this restaurant, and the concept is really, I think, I haven't seen anything like it here as far as how we give back. We offer something here called a number one, and on the number one, we partner with our patrons to provide meals for those struggling with food scarcity. And I think in the beginning we thought we're just going to get a bunch of bums. I mean, that was honestly, but it's been really eye-opening to see the different folks who come in and start to hear their stories. A couple that came in when we first opened, they were in here a lot. We knew they were struggling, and both of them have since passed away from overdoses. We've also seen, victory stories, people who have overcome. And we got a letter the other day from a patron. She came in and had a meal, and we didn't think anything of it. And she left us a letter, and she was like, I've come to Winna's for the second time. The first time I came here, I was a number one. And she was like, she just said, I was treated with the same level of service and kindness as a number one that I was treated with as a patron today. And it's, it's stories like that just make you like, okay, we can do it.
Can you talk a little bit about what exactly the number one is?
Yep. So for $5, we partner with our patrons literally to provide a meal for people who are struggling. And all people have to do to get that is to come in and say, hey, do you have a number one? And so they ask for number one. We have cards that some people will just buy, 10 or 20, and they'll just pass the cards out to people they'll see, and they can come in and redeem it. Or we just keep them suspended behind the counter, and folks just come in and ask for them. I say this though, we never don't have one. And in the beginning, that was real tough, because there were some days in the beginning where we gave away more food than we sold.
Sure.
And in the off season, that's very common. It's like, well, but it's we feel like it's a dignified way to serve people and it not feel like a handout, and it's a way to build relationships with people.
So Myrtle Beach is known for its really vibrant culinary scene. How do you think that Winna's Kitchen contributes to this, adds to this?
So we, we love food. I think I said that before. But we also love a little bit different. And so our goal has always been to elevate the things everybody loves, but just take it to the next level, add a little flair to it. And so I think that's kind of what we bring. We bring new flavors, kind of, for lack of a better word, trending flavors. And then that's in our regular menu. We do daily specials quite often. And then we do a chef's table once a month. And so it's a 5-course dinner of things you don't normally see. And it's a tasting menu. Folks seem to love it. And so we enjoy doing that. We feel like that's something we bring. But I would definitely say our regular everyday menu is not what you would see at a normal breakfast spot. We do like bacon and egg fried rice, or our pancakes are not just pancakes, they're lemon ricotta pancakes, and all of our sauces are made in-house. So our blueberry sauce, our lemon curd, all of our dressings, and they're not something you get at another restaurant, you know. And so I think the uniqueness of that and just the commitment to the quality of our ingredients and the food that we put out is key to raising the bar, or at least participating in the level where we're at.
Can you talk about, I know you mentioned the lady recently with the letter, but can you talk about another really memorable moment that exemplifies the community and spirit of Winna's Kitchen?
Oh, I have to. So we work from the inside out. You know, if we're not taking care of the people in here, we are not able to take care of the people who come in here.
That's right.
And so this story is, we work with people who have challenges. That's something that we're committed to. People who may struggle in other work environments, we're committed to working with. And we have a staff member who struggles with autism, anxiety, those kind of things. And this staff person ended up on a shift, a front of house shift alone a few weeks ago. And they just kind of froze. And when they were like, I think I'm going to have to leave, I'm like, listen, tell me what's going on. They told me what was going on. Literally, our whole staff literally jumped in. Even a patron jumped in, picked up everything. One of our other staff took the person to the back and just said, hey, this is a moment in time. Coached them, sat with them, made sure they were okay. We got front of house settled, everything was great. At the end of the shift, I looked up and this person was still here, and I was like, you made it. And they were like, just big alligator tears. And they were like, any other job I wouldn't have. But you got everybody here just was like, it's okay, we're gonna get it, we're gonna make it work. We got you, you hang on. Like, nobody had to go to the cooler and have a meltdown. You know, nobody was mad. Everybody was just like, we got you, it's okay. Another story that I think has been one I tell often because I need to hear it and be reminded. We have some folks in our circle that work in an environment of recovery and participate in that a lot. And she was at a meeting one night, and a guy came up to her and he said, you look so familiar. And she was like, I hear that all the time. He said, no, I'm serious. And she was like, well, I don't know how. And he come to find out, he realized she worked here. And he said, you guys saved my life last year. And she said, the food's good, but it's not that good. And he said, no, you don't understand. He said, I was at the bottom. I was at the height of my addiction. I was struggling in a way I never had. He said, and I came in for number one. He said, and your server just started talking to me, asking me questions. He was like, it was the first time in months anybody had asked me my name, looked me in the eye, cared about where I was going and what I was doing. And he said it literally gave me hope. And I was just like, okay, Jesus, we're gonna keep going. It's hard, but we're gonna keep going.
Oh, that makes all of the challenges worth it.
It does, it does, it does.
So how do you balance honoring your family traditions with innovating and adapting to modern culinary trends?
Well, my family is totally dysfunctional, so it's kind of natural. You know, it is, I think the ingredients for us are a big deal. Ingredients and quality, I would say, are probably the things that the quality of the ingredients we use don't change. The heart that we prepare food with doesn't change, but our menu and ingredients change often. And so I think that's kind of the way we meld those things together. We have our motto is have fun, eat well, do good. And eating well, when we're talking to our kitchen staff, is not just about the food you eat. It's how your food's prepared. And, my grandma, I would always say, why does your food taste so much better than mine? And she was like, because I make it for you, like I love you. And when I'm making your food, I put my love into it. And I used to think that was the cheesiest thing I ever heard. I was just like, how you put love in something? No, it works. Like, I tell people, we don't throw food on the grill. We do everything with purpose and intent, because you're preparing that food for someone to eat. Like that food's gonna nourish someone's body. And so we do it with purpose and intent.
I love that. What's your favorite thing about living here in Myrtle Beach?
There are two things. The beach. Like, I just love being that close to the water. It's, we went to Mexico a few years ago, and I told my husband, I was like, I know this sounds crazy, but like, we didn't leave the resort. I literally can drive a minute and a half, 90 seconds it takes me to get to the beach. And I sit out there and I look at the palm trees and the water, and I'm like, no, this is just as good. It's just as good, and I speak the language. So I'm a fan of the beach. But I will say this: Myrtle Beach is the most hospitable place I've ever lived. And we've lived literally from Myrtle Beach to San Francisco, and all points in between. This city is so welcoming and kind and communal, and people want everybody else to win. There is competition in business, and there's always, somebody. I mean, life wouldn't be life if that didn't exist. But for the most part, it's a community of people who really care and want to see each other win. And just in this block, I see that. The brewery, Clayton over at the brewery, he's just fantastic. Then Lisa and Jamie over at the wine room, and just in this block, we're constantly trying to work together for everybody to succeed. It's not every man for himself. It's hey, we're all in this together. Hang on, we got this. We're moving forward. And so I think that's probably my favorite thing is, you don't feel like you're left hung out to dry. It's a community.
So if someone wants to find you online or wants to visit Winna's Kitchen, where can they find you?
Well, they can find us at our website, www.winnaskitchen.com, or they can find us on social media at Winna's Kitchen MB on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So
I have one more question for you.
Tell me.
Do you have a favorite quote or any words of wisdom you'd like to leave behind?
There's so many, girls. There's so many. But my favorite is one, there are literally so many running through my head. I'm a person of faith, and I'm sure that I tell people all the time, I'm really fortunate that God has been so gracious and so good to me. And so one of my life verses has been Psalm 138:8, and it says, "The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Your mercy, O Lord, endures forever. Forsake not the work of your own hands." And then there's one by Brene Brown, and I use it as my email tag, and it says, "Have the courage to show up and be who you really are."
Love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I love your story.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.